Hello everyone, and welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Nick. Today we're going to dive into something super practical and really useful, especially for anyone who loves traveling. We're talking about the most useful English phrases for tourists. Whether you're traveling to London, New York, Sydney, or any English-speaking country, knowing these phrases will make your trip smoother and less stressful.
Exactly, Nick. Imagine you're in a new country. You're at the airport, in a taxi, or at a hotel, and you suddenly realize you don't know how to say the simplest things. That can feel overwhelming. But the good news is that you don't need to know thousands of words. You just need some key phrases that work in many different situations.
Right. Think of these phrases like your little travel survival kit. They're not just about being polite, they actually help you solve problems, get information, and feel more confident when you're in a completely new place.
Let's start with one of the most basic, but powerful phrases, excuse me. It's small, but it opens so many doors. You can use it if you want to get someone's attention, if you're trying to pass through a crowded area, or even if you accidentally bump into someone.
Yes, and the tone really matters. If you say, "Excuse me," politely, people usually respond kindly. For example, if you're lost in the city and you want to ask for directions, you could start with, "Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the train station?" It immediately shows respect and people are more willing to help you.
And it's also useful in restaurants. Imagine the waiter is across the room and you want to get their attention. Just raising your hand and saying, "Excuse me," is enough. You don't have to shout or wave wildly. It's simple, polite, and effective.
Speaking of restaurants, another phrase tourists always need is, "Can I have?" For example, "Can I have a coffee, please?" or "Can I have the menu, please?" It's polite, and it works in almost every situation where you want to order something or ask for something.
Yes, and I think learners sometimes worry, what if I don't say it perfectly? Honestly, don't worry too much. Even if you just say, "Can I have water, please?" people will understand. The important thing is the structure. Can I have, plus the item you want.
Exactly. And here's a tip, adding "please" at the end makes it sound friendlier. If you just say, "Can I have water?" it sounds a little bit too direct. But "Can I have water, please?" sounds polite and natural.
And sometimes you can use a small variation, "Could I get?" So in a cafe, you might say, "Could I get a sandwich and a cup of tea, please?" It's slightly more casual, but very common.
Now let's move to another situation tourists face all the time, asking for directions. A super useful phrase is, "How do I get to?" For example, "How do I get to the museum?" or "How do I get to the bus station?"
Yes, and it's better than just saying, "Where is the museum?" Because "where is the museum" might give you a very short answer, like "over there." But if you say, "How do I get to the museum?" the person will probably give you step-by-step directions. Go straight, turn left at the traffic light, and it's on the right.
Good point. And if you want to be extra polite, you could combine it with the phrase we mentioned earlier, "Excuse me, how do I get to the museum?" That sounds really nice, and people usually appreciate that.
And if you're worried you might not understand their answer, you can prepare another useful phrase. "Could you please say that again?" That's such a lifesaver. Imagine someone speaks quickly and you miss a part. Instead of just saying "what," which can sound rude, you can say, "Could you please say that again?" It shows respect and gives you a second chance to understand.
Let's talk about hotels, because every tourist has to check in somewhere. When you arrive, one of the first phrases you'll use is, "I have a reservation." You just walk up to the front desk and say, "Hello, I have a reservation under the name," and then give your name.
Yes, and sometimes the staff might ask, "Do you have a reservation?" That's why it's so useful to know this phrase. If you don't have one, you could say, "Do you have any rooms available tonight?" That's another really helpful phrase.
Exactly. And once you're checked in, you might need small things. For example, could I have an extra towel, please? Or, could you help me with the Wi-Fi password? These polite requests make your stay much more comfortable.
I think many tourists also need the phrase, "What time is checkout?" because every hotel is different. Some are at 11 a.m., some at noon, and you don't want to be surprised.
Now, another area tourists often worry about is transportation. For example, taking a taxi. One useful phrase is, "Could you take me to?" For instance, "Could you take me to the airport, please?" It's clear, polite, and the driver knows exactly what you want.
Yes, and if you're not sure how much it will cost, you can ask, "How much is the fare to the airport?" Or, if you're on a bus or train, you can ask the ticket seller, "How much is a ticket to the city center?" These money-related phrases are essential.
And let's not forget the phrase, "Is this the right bus train for?" Imagine you're standing at a bus stop, and you're not sure if the bus will go to your destination. You can ask, "Excuse me, is this the right bus for the shopping mall?" That saves you from a lot of confusion.
Let's move on to shopping, because tourists almost always buy something, souvenirs, clothes, or maybe just a bottle of water from a shop. One really useful phrase is, "How much is this?" It's direct and very common. You can point to the item and say, "Excuse me, how much is this?"
Yes, that's such a classic. And here's a tip, if you want to be even more polite, you can add, "Please." So it becomes, "How much is this, please?" It's short, but it shows good manners.
And sometimes, especially in markets, you might want to ask, "Do you accept credit cards?" Not every place takes cards, and it's awkward if you only realize after shopping. So that phrase can save you some trouble.
Absolutely. And another one is, "Can I try this on?" That's perfect if you're in a clothing store. You can say, "Can I try this on, please?" and they'll usually show you to the fitting room.
And when you're ready to buy, a simple, "I'll take it" is very useful. It tells the shop assistant you want that item. Or, if you decide not to buy, you can politely say, "No, thank you. I'm just looking." That helps you avoid pressure from sellers.
Now, let's imagine a situation many tourists worry about, emergencies. Of course, no one wants to face one, but it's important to know a few phrases just in case. The most basic is, "I need help." You can use it anywhere, and people will understand that you're in trouble.
Yes, and if you need medical help, you can say, "I need a doctor," or "Where is the nearest hospital?" Even if your pronunciation isn't perfect, most people will understand and try to help.
And don't forget the phrase, "Call the police, please." Hopefully you never need it, but it's powerful and important.
True. And even for smaller issues, like losing your wallet or bag, you can ask, "Where is the lost and found?" That's very practical in airports, train stations, or even big shopping malls.
Now let's switch to something lighter, small talk with locals. This is where your trip can feel warmer and friendlier. A simple phrase like, "It's beautiful here," is a great way to start a little conversation.
Yes. Locals love it when visitors appreciate their city or country. Imagine you're in London and you say to a shopkeeper, "It's beautiful here." That small compliment can open the door to a nice chat.
And another one is, "Could you recommend?" For example, "Could you recommend a good restaurant nearby?" Or, "Could you recommend something interesting to see?" Locals usually love giving recommendations.
Exactly. And you might also want to connect by saying, "I'm visiting from," and then your country. For example, "I'm visiting from Japan." People often respond with curiosity and ask you questions. It makes travel more personal.
Let's also think about airports, since that's where a lot of tourists first use English. One really common phrase is, "Where is the check-in counter?" or "Where is the boarding gate?" These questions help you move through the airport without stress.
Yes, and at security, sometimes they might ask you to do something you don't understand. So another useful phrase is, could you explain, please? It shows you want to cooperate, but need a bit of extra help.
And when you're boarding, staff might ask, do you have your boarding pass, or can I see your passport? So it's good to be ready for those simple but important moments.
And if your flight is delayed, you can go to the counter and ask, how long is the delay, or when will we board? These are straightforward, but really helpful when plans change.
Another area is public transport inside the city. For example, if you're not sure where to get off the bus, you can ask the driver or another passenger, does this bus stop at? Like, does this bus stop at the central station?
Yes, and I think tourists often need to ask, where is the nearest subway station? That's a classic question in big cities. People will usually point you in the right direction.
And if you're buying tickets, you can say, I'd like a ticket to, for example, I'd like a ticket to Oxford, please. It's polite and clear.
Let's go deeper into restaurants, because that's where tourists often use English the most. After you sit down, the waiter might ask, are you ready to order? If you need more time, you can simply say, not yet, could we have a few more minutes, please? That's polite and very natural.
Yes, and when you're ready, you can say, I'd like, for example, I'd like the chicken salad, please. Or, as we said before, can I have, works just as well. These phrases cover almost every food situation.
And don't forget dietary needs. If you're vegetarian, you could say, does this dish have meat? Or if you have allergies, you could say, I'm allergic to nuts. Does this have nuts? That's really important for safety.
And at the end of the meal, one phrase everyone needs is, could we have the bill, please? That's the polite way to ask for the check. In some countries, the waiter won't bring it until you ask, so this phrase is essential.
Another fun situation is sightseeing. You might want to ask, what time does the museum open, or how much is the entrance fee? These are very practical when you're visiting attractions.
Yes, and sometimes tourists love to take photos. A super handy phrase is, could you take a picture of us, please? Most people are happy to help if you ask politely.
And you can return the kindness by saying, would you like me to take a picture for you? It's a friendly gesture, and can lead to short, but nice interactions with other travelers.
Exactly. And another phrase for sightseeing is there a guided tour? That can be helpful if you want more information about the place you're visiting.
So, Nick, after looking at all these phrases, I think the big takeaway is that you don't need perfect grammar or advanced vocabulary to travel confidently. You just need these simple, polite expressions.
Absolutely. They are short, clear, and powerful. With excuse me, could you? I'd like, and thank you, you can handle almost every travel situation.
And remember, it's not just about the words, it's also about the attitude. If you smile, speak politely, and stay calm, people are usually very willing to help you.
That's right. Traveling with even a small set of English phrases can transform your experience. Instead of feeling nervous, you'll feel prepared.
We hope today's episode gave you the confidence to use these phrases on your next trip. Whether you're ordering food, checking into a hotel, or asking for directions, you now have the tools to make your journey smoother and more enjoyable.
Thanks for listening, and wherever you travel, remember to carry these phrases with you. They're small words, but they open big doors.